This might be Apple's most hated product, the Apple Magic Mouse, but in this video, I'm going to defend it on a couple of things.
This is the Magic Mouse 2, and I'm going to explain why this actually is a pretty decent design. So a lot of people don't like how the lightning port is on the bottom of the mouse, but this makes sense because, for one, this is the top. There is symmetry between the top and the bottom of the mouse. If Apple was to put a lightning port on the top of the mouse, right here, that would not work because this is just not big enough to have the lightning port. This is actually quite thin. It is really a nice design here. And then if Apple was to make the top of the mouse thicker to accommodate one of these lightning ports, that would break the symmetry.
And if Apple was to flatten out the top of the mouse, that would also cause symmetry issues.
And I don't think that Apple would do that because this works perfectly fine. I got this mouse in March and it is currently May, and this thing has just now reached 20% battery, and I got it at 80% battery, so I don't think that charging this thing is ever an issue. And honestly, when this thing does die, charging it is not that big of an issue because I can just plug this in overnight and I can have 100% battery for the next 3 months. At least until the battery degrades, but even if it degrades, even if this lasts a week and I have to charge this every other week, that's not bad. Now, a lot of people say that this is an uncomfortable mouse, and I can understand that, but I've been using this for 3 months, and I don't think it's that bad because I actually came from using this Logitech MX Anywhere 3 that I had for a few months, and this mouse is nice, but this has another issue. The Magic Mouse is a good bit thinner, actually, but I like that because this mouse, it's just really small, and having this is a pretty good portable mouse, right? But actually using this is kind of uncomfortable because especially using this for a while can get uncomfortable. I know some other people have different experiences, but I've been able to use this for hours without any issue, and I've had this for a few months now. And before this, I have had different Magic Mouse accessories. I used one of these a lot when they were new, from like 2014 era, and even before that, because I just had whatever came with the iMac, and this has worked just fine. I have no issue with this. And I also think that this mouse is really good for editing in like Final Cut Pro, because I actually stopped using my Magic Trackpad 2 a lot when I started to use this Magic Mouse 2 because of the touch gestures. Side note on the Magic Trackpad, I've had this thing for over 3 years now, and the battery still lasts just fine. I actually charged this last weekend. It's still at 100, and this thing has never had an issue with lasting at least like 2 or 3 months. This thing takes forever to die, and the last time I remember charging this was like October, and it is May now. And people also say there's no right-click ability on this. In the System Preferences app, I just enabled right-click, and after using this, I do not miss having 2 physical buttons at all because I have basically no scenarios where I want 2 buttons, unless I'm playing a game like Call of Duty, which I'm not doing on a Mac anyway. But this entire mouse, I think, is designed for Macs, with how the scrolling works and how the clicking is, and apps like Final Cut Pro really do take advantage of the gesture system with this touch-sensitive plate right here, and I like that a lot. And also, if someone buys this and doesn't have any other Apple products, this thing comes with a lightning cable in the box. So there's no reason to really have a problem with this port being there, because macOS actually warns me when the mouse is at like 5% to charge it soon. So I can just charge it overnight whenever I see that it's at 5% and I won't have any issues. And anybody who's used one of these Logitech mice knows that charging it and using it is sometimes problematic, because I've had a few experiences with this mouse in specific where I've charged it and tried to use it and it constantly disconnected and gave me issues. And the same happened when I actually used my MX Master 2S, or whatever it was called, back in like 2021.
So performance-wise, as I mentioned, this is not going to be a gaming mouse. The maximum DPI is 1600 apparently, and it's a 100-gram mouse, so it is kind of on the heavier side. It also uses Bluetooth, so it won't be the most responsive compared to something that's wired, but for normal use, business, creative, all that kind of stuff, the Magic Mouse 2 should be fine. It's only when getting into gaming and that kind of stuff where input lag and latency actually matters that this would become a problem, but I don't think that people are going to be using the Magic Mouse 2 for gaming. Another good point I saw online is that the lightning cables aren't designed for constant movement. If I was to use my Magic Mouse plugged in with a lightning cable on the top, the lightning cable would fray, tear, and break quickly. USB-C would likely have the same problem, as the cables aren't made to be constantly dragged around a desk. That's one of the reasons why most wired mice will use a permanently attached cable, such as the G502 that I was previously showing in the video. Many say that the battery on the Magic Mouse could potentially become damaged from constant charging usage, but I'm not sure about that because I've had an iPad 5th generation which I use as a clock, constantly charging for 3 months straight, and it hasn't even made a dent on the battery health. With that said, I'm sure that after a few years of usage, the battery would go bad on a Magic Mouse if it is constantly charged. One of the common complaints that users have about the Magic Mouse is the ergonomics. It's been a few months since I started recording this video, and it's now August of 2023, and I still have yet to have any problems with this mouse's ergonomic feel. I don't doubt that some people do have a problem with it, and I'm not saying that it's flawless, but for moderate usage, I've yet to have any problems after months of usage. And also, while we're talking about usage, I have only had to charge this mouse a good 3 times since I got it, maybe. The battery on this thing lasts so long that I don't think about it. I just charge it whenever it gets to 10% overnight, and then I'm good for another couple months.
So with that said, thank you for watching, and goodbye.